The Outsider, Stephen King. Introduction. Stephen King's The Outsider, published in 2018, is a gripping blend of crime, mystery, and supernatural horror. The novel begins as a straightforward detective thriller, but soon spirals into something far darker, blurring the lines between reality and the unknown. The story revolves around a seemingly open-and-shut murder case, where all evidence points to a beloved town figure, Terry Maitland. However, as the investigation unfolds, contradictory evidence emerges, and Detective Ralph Anderson is forced to question everything he believes in. At its core, The Outsider explores the nature of evil, the fragility of truth, and the horror of the inexplicable. Plot summary: a shocking crime in Flint City. The novel opens in Flint City, Oklahoma, where a horrific crime shakes the entire community. The brutally murdered body of an 11-year-old boy, Frank Peterson, is discovered in a park. The crime scene is particularly gruesome, with evidence suggesting the killer acted with extreme violence and cruelty. The police investigation moves quickly. Multiple witnesses identify the suspect, Terry Maitland, a well-respected English teacher, Little League coach, and devoted family man. His fingerprints, DNA, and even eyewitness accounts place him at the crime scene. Detective Ralph Anderson, driven by personal feelings, his own son once played baseball under Maitland, orders a dramatic and very public arrest during a baseball game, ensuring that the entire town witnesses Maitland's humiliation. The case seems rock solid. But then, an impossible contradiction emerges. An impossible alibi. As the prosecution prepares for trial, Terry Maitland presents an airtight alibi. He was miles away at a conference, and there is even video footage proving his presence. Multiple people, including a respected school principal, confirm seeing him at the event. This creates a terrifying paradox. How can a man be in two places at once? If Terry Maitland didn't commit the murder, then who or what did? The fracturing of reality. Ralph Anderson, who was so certain of Maitland's guilt, now faces an unexplainable dilemma. The physical evidence undeniably places Maitland at the crime scene, yet the video evidence proves just as definitively that he was somewhere else. As doubt creeps into the case, Ralph and his colleagues begin to question the very nature of truth, reality, and identity. The deeper they dig, the more strange and terrifying the mystery becomes. A deeper, darker presence. As the case unfolds, disturbing details emerge. There are traces of another presence, an outsider, lurking on the fringes of the crime. The same pattern of impossible crimes appears in other locations. Survivors speak in whispers about a shadowy figure, a man with a distorted face, who seems to be connected to unspeakable tragedies. The evidence suggests something inhuman, a force that can mimic people perfectly, leaving no trace of its deception except for the devastation it causes. As the investigation shifts from science to the supernatural, Ralph struggles to accept what seems impossible. Main themes. 1. The duality of good and evil. At its core, The Outsider is a story about the duality of human nature, the struggle between reason and irrational fear, between good and evil. Terry Maitland is portrayed as a good man, loved, trusted, and respected. And yet, the evidence brands him a monster. This raises the chilling question: what if true evil can look exactly like someone we trust? 2. The horror of the unexplainable. King masterfully blends crime fiction with supernatural horror, forcing logical minds like Ralph Anderson's to confront something that defies rational explanation. The novel explores the terror of what happens when the impossible becomes real. 3. The dangers of assumptions and mob justice. By arresting Terry Maitland publicly without fully examining the evidence, Ralph unintentionally destroys a man's life. The novel explores how mob mentality and blind certainty can cause just as much harm as the crimes they seek to punish. 4. The power of belief. Characters in the novel must confront the limits of their understanding. For a detective like Ralph, believing in the supernatural is nearly impossible. Yet, as the case unfolds, refusing to believe may be more dangerous than accepting the truth. A turn toward the supernatural. As more terrifying evidence emerges, the case takes a supernatural turn. Enter Holly Gibney, a private investigator, first introduced in Mr. Mercedes. Unlike Ralph, Holly is open to supernatural explanations. She begins uncovering links between Maitland's case and other eerie, identical crimes across the country. Through Holly's research, they learn of a dark entity, a being that has existed for centuries. Something that can take the form of others, feeding off fear, grief, and despair. This outsider is neither fully human nor fully explainable. It moves from place to place, assuming the identity of innocent people, committing unspeakable acts, and leaving the real person to take the blame. The challenge now becomes, how do you fight something that can become anyone? The build-up to the climax. As Ralph and Holly come closer to the truth, the stakes escalate. The outsider begins manipulating those around them, sowing doubt, fear, and paranoia. They must race against time to find a way to stop something that seems unstoppable. Ralph must make a choice. Stay within the limits of rational thinking or accept the impossible and fight back. The novel masterfully builds tension, with every discovery pulling the characters further into the abyss of the unknown. Legacy of the Outsider. Critical reception. The Outsider was widely praised for its seamless blend of detective fiction and horror, showcasing Stephen King's ability to make the supernatural feel disturbingly real. Connections to other Stephen King works. Holly Gibney, a key character in this novel, later returns in If It Bleeds, solidifying her as one of King's most intriguing recurring characters. The concept of a shape-shifting evil, which feeds on human suffering, is reminiscent of Pennywise from IT. The novel subtly references the Dark Tower series, hinting at a larger, interconnected universe. Final thoughts. Stephen King's The Outsider is a masterclass in genre fusion, blending detective fiction, psychological horror, and the supernatural into a thrilling, terrifying, and thought-provoking novel. It forces readers to question the nature of truth, explore the limits of human understanding, and confront the possibility of something lurking just beyond the edges of reality. Is the world as rational as we believe? Or is there something far darker hiding in plain sight? Skull to find out. Step into the world of The Outsider, if you dare.